Okay, start right. Action.
This is Claudia, and I'm Lance, and we're here at the Mission Federal Building and listening to Claudia start off with the GMO and explain some of the problems we're having with our food product. And what you were telling me, Claudia, about how they're transposing.
Right, there's companies that are injecting genetic material from one food, like fish, into another food, like potatoes, to modify it to have qualities that they say are useful, so they won't have to use as many insecticides. But what they haven't really studied what they're doing, and we're eating these foods without knowing it. And that's the main reason for this rally today, is we want to know when we're eating genetically modified food so we can choose to eat them or not. So most of the potatoes you get in the market, if they're not organic, most corn, most soybeans, and beets, all those things are now genetically modified. And we don't know it. People don't know it. And we're really putting this on the initiative in California for 2012, so that people can at least know and then choose what they want.
And your concern is that by doing this, there could be side effects.
Absolutely. There are side effects, and the flyer that I just gave you shows that even one of the medical associations is saying there are side effects with insulin production.
So this could lead to diabetes?
It could. We're not going to promise that, but what this says is things such as infertility, immune problems, faulty insulin regulation, changes in major organs. None of that's been studied, and that's the main concern, is that we want to know. In Europe, there are no genetically modified foods. Every country in Europe has said no to genetically modified foods, and we want the choice to have that choice also for us.
Have they seen any sort of positive ramifications from making this move in Europe?
Well, I don't know what the positive ramifications are. When they hear that there's genetically modified food, they get really angry.
Okay.
And what the problem with genetically modified foods is the seeds travel, and they kind of infiltrate the organic foods, and there's no stopping them. Once they're in it, they're practically in it forever. So there's not a choice.
So there's like DNA?
Yeah.
Wow,
It's in the DNA.
I never knew about that.
And the other thing is that you have to buy the seeds rather than save seeds. And so there's a whole issue with farmers having to buy seeds when for thousands of years farmers have saved their seeds.
Is there anywhere people can get more information on this, or on your cause?
Go to the Organic Consumers Association website, OCA.
OCA.com?
Might be .org.
Okay.
Or just look up genetically modified foods, Monsanto, and look at the pros and cons. This is the 2012 initiative in California to label GMOs. So you can look on their website.
Okay, and we'll take a trip over there.
Okay, well that's great. Well, thank you, Claudia. We're going to go over and maybe get a little...
Good. Go on over.
So this answers our a question about what the website is.
Okay.
It's gmos.org.
Labelgmos.org.
Labelgmos.org. Okay. And what is your name, ma'am?
I'm Avenel.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about labels. Labelgmos.org.
Labelgmos.org intends to make it a requirement by law to label our food honestly. Right now, our food is labeled. Everybody can see that. Anytime you buy a box of food, it's got a label and it says what's in it. But it doesn't say everything that's in it. And if you're concerned about your health or the health of your children or my grandchildren, you want them to eat healthy food that's honest. And if we lived in Canada or if we lived in Europe, our food would be honest because it's labeled. So what we're asking for is not anything that's fiscally irresponsible. We're not asking for anything that isn't already happening. We're asking for more transparency and for honesty in food.
What kind of questions are coming up as far as arguments for the cause and positive impacts of the cause?
I'll start with a negative.
Okay.
There are people that just don't care what's in their food, and that's their choice. You know, as adults, we don't have to care what's in our food if we don't want to. But they don't want to be involved in the Label GMO project because they think it's kind of ridiculous to have to label more things. There are people that are very positive proponents for genetically modified food. One young man is real happy to grow tomatoes in the Central Valley in November, which we can't do currently. But if you have a genetically modified tomato that takes some Atlantic salmon cells and puts it into the tomato, then suddenly you can grow your tomato in November. In theory, that sounds good. In theory, that sounds like better than chemistry. Woohoo, you know, we're very excited about that. But in reality, now we have more food allergies. We have people that are getting sick from eating things that are supposed to be healthy for us. And mostly I've gotten a really good result talking to people and walking around with my goofy little label on.
That's it. I did notice a sign last time I flew in at the airport in San Francisco. It had a lady, I think from Somalia or Africa, and she had a billboard that said, we can feed, I don't know, 20,000 people if we could just get the seed. And I'm not sure what that meant. Did that have anything to do with genetic engineering and growing more crops?
In my opinion, it does, because there used to be things called subsistence farmers, and a subsistence farmer grows their crop, reaps this, takes the seed, preserves some of the seed, sells some of it to pay for their living expenses, and then lives off of their crop. When they have a genetically modified food, the seeds are self-terminating, so they commit suicide basically. They grow the plant once, they can never grow the plant again. The seeds are sterile, the seeds that come from those plants. So you never have subsistence anymore. You have somebody that, they're stuck, they're hooked into Monsanto. It's now getting really difficult to even buy organic corn. And farmers in the valley are having trouble finding seed for corn that's not genetically modified.
Huh. So that's actually a bad thing in a way.
In my opinion, genetically modified food is poison.
Even if you can produce more of it more efficiently.
You can't produce more of it more efficiently. They say that you can, and in factory, or not factory, but in optimal lab situations, you produce maybe 20% more, but when they take it out and put it out there in the world, you don't produce 20% more. Maybe you get 10% more. You can't feed the world on artificial food.
Okay.
But it's my right. Should be my right.
Yeah.
We're on the same
Are you
floor.
helping out today, or are you?
Well, we just here.